Finn. Today is the 10th of July 2013 and I'm 3 months on testosterone. Cannot believe it is going this quick. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, as it's the big month, I've done the crib sheet thing again, and I'm going to go through things in detail rather than my normal monthly kind of like ramble. So hopefully this is a bit more structured again. Okay, so month 3. Hair growth over this month. Well, it's continuing to get very dark. I had dark hair anyway, but like hair now is like blacker than black. It's quite incredible actually. Like especially on this very lower bit of my arm here and across my wrists where my scars are. It's brilliant that it's all coming in incredibly dark and just thicker. You can see it's thicker, and then you go out in the daylight and you can just see my arms are just becoming a big hairball, fur ball. Still continuing to get more hair on my arm palms. A friend of mine called them arm palms. These are arm palms. I love that. Yeah, and I've looked at other guys' arms, and my best mate Kev, his arms, the underneath of his arms are just hairy. There is hardly any palm to see, it's just hair. So maybe that's what's happening with me. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. My new hair is beautiful. Do you know, it's so crazy and wonderful to be looking at parts of my body and actually go, oh, I really like that. You know, that's never happened. Over the years, I've learnt to come to terms with my body, and I've kind of been able to accept and go, that part of my body's alright, it'll do, I can accept it. But to actually now be turning around and going, oh, I really like that part of my body, I really like what's happening here. I'm forever running to that and going, look at this. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful to be loving my body. It's amazing. Oh yes, my leg hair. Loving my leg hair as well. Lower leg was always really hairy anyway, but now my flies are undone. I was going to stand up and show you. But basically, where you get like hair here, I've got a carpet, and it's brilliant. Like that bit there just joins up with my pubic area, and it's just like one big black hairy carpet. It's blooming brilliant. It's crazy when I get in the bath. I've just got all this hair kind of blowing in the waves. It's fantastic. I'm turning into a yeti. I just love it. I absolutely love it. My face is getting loads of hair on it. My fried tuck beard that was there pre-tea has got darker and thicker. It's also meeting in the middle. I've got hair everywhere, all over my face and all under here. Here, it's still quite downy, and you can't really see it. But under here, it's getting coarser and thicker, and you're starting to see it. I've purposely not shaved today, so I'm going to stick my face right in the camera, so beware, if you're eating breakfast, you know, put your breakfast down. So yes, fried tuck beard here, but it's coming along here more. And I don't know, you can see my Adam's apple starting, look. That's quite cool. Didn't notice that before. So yeah, here it's starting to show. I mean, you really can't see this that much at all, but you can feel it as up high up as here. Nat says she can feel it now when she kisses me, and it's quite funny. Awesome. So yeah, that's going well. Someone, I think it was Daniel Rocket, used his girlfriend's mascara on his beard. Brilliant idea, brilliant. And I'd quite like to do that because then you'd see how much is there. But neither me or Nat own mascara, and I don't know anybody that does. So I might buy some mascara and do that just for a laugh. Yeah. What else? Ow, so my eye. The hair has just generally changed appearance. It's thicker, darker, coarser, and curlier. And it looks like pubes. Nat said that my hair on my legs looks like pubes. It's just so curly. Dum-de-dum. My hairline, I still think is different, especially like this bit here. I seem to have like this hair coming down here, and it looks more like I'm getting a widow's peak, which is quite funny. And I swear my hair on my head's darker as well. I get Philip Schofield sides. I get like silver, it's not grey, it's silver, along here. You can't really see it at the moment, but when I get my hair freshly cut and I get a grade 1, you can really see the silver coming through. So this month, when I get my hair cut, I might not dye it before my video. I use just for men, you know, it's for men, it's alright. Yeah, and I can see the difference then, see if it really is less white. It's really bizarre actually, that my arms and my legs look so different. I don't know why they look so different, but they look so much more manly. Maybe it's just the hair, I don't know. But I look at my legs and my arms now, and I just feel like they look like real man legs. I don't get that, but there you go. Voice change, as you can hear, it's still continuing, and I love it so much that it can get so deep. It's brilliant. But I have to say, right, no one on YouTube seems to talk about the fact that you have to learn to talk again. Maybe I totally missed this point, but I kind of was under the impression that on T, my voice would change, that it would just gradually drop and get lower and lower and lower. I knew there would be some squeaking involved, but I just thought it would happen. It doesn't just happen. You have to put effort into this thing. I mean, it's really low today. I've got up this morning and it stayed as my morning voice. It's just really, really deep today, which is lovely. It's not always like this. Some days it's really squeaky. And what I find is, throughout the days I'm talking more, it does end up getting tired and squeaks more. And if I start being lazy about how I'm talking, then it will squeak. But if I concentrate and breathe correctly, it will stay level and steady and low. So you have to put effort into this to make it do it. And also the fact that you lose certain ranges and tones in your voice. I have no range whatsoever. I'm not a singer, but I was aware that I had range before. You know, there was like a lower talking level, then there was like when I was excited, it was a different level, and then throwing my voice was a different range, and I just have hardly any range now except low. So if I just concentrate on not getting overexcited and just talking low, my voice doesn't crack or squeak. But all the other range is gone at the moment. I've started to notice that some tones and ranges are coming back. I was singing at Glastonbury, which was amusing that because my singing was worse than normal. But I was able to reach more tones and ranges than I've been able to reach. So, I don't know, it's just... It's really strange that I've not heard anyone really talk about... Maybe I just look so deeply into stuff that I'm just noticing more, I don't know. But I didn't realise how much effort I was going to have to put in order to relearn how to use my voice and speak. Things like I've said before about throwing my voice. If I just go, nah, see, it cuts off. I have to kind of go, Nat, and really kind of like concentrate on it coming from here. So it's not like it just happens naturally at all. It is, obviously it is happening naturally, but you have to help it along. Am I making sense? But anyway, I'm loving it. I'm loving the whole experience, and I'm loving that sometimes I discover there's a noise I can no longer make. Did anyone watch the Gremlins? You know, Mogwai Gizmo, and he does that. I can't do it. I used to be able to make the Gizmo singing noise where he goes, that is all I can manage now. I must have sat with Nat with an hour last night trying to redo it and see if I can get it in a different range, and I can't make the noise anymore. And that's really funny. So yeah, I'm discovering lots of that every day, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Maybe my other tones that will come back at some point. Because although I couldn't sing, I was all right. I could pass. I could just about sing. Now I can't sing at all. I'd like to be able to sing a bit again, so hopefully it will come back. My skin. Let's talk about my skin, shall we? It's generally greasier, much greasier than it was. I don't really have to use moisturiser now. I've always had dry skin, but now I don't need it. I was really worried I was going to get acne because I was starting to get really spotty in my first couple of months. But this month, I haven't really. My skin seems to have settled down again. I'm still getting the odd spot, but nothing major. So I think I'm going to be one of the lucky ones who avoids acne, which is good. My skin is definitely thickening and changing texture. I'm really noticing it on my face. It is definitely so much thicker, especially across my forehead. Now, I've got like wrinkle line here. See if I do that. But even when I'm not wrinkling my forehead now, I can feel the dent there. It's like my furrow there. That's really attractive, isn't it? My furrow. I sound like Bill Hicks. My furrows of worry. So yeah, I've actually noticed that a lot of men seem to have more prominent wrinkles on their forehead here. What's the term? Is it ruddy? Ruddy complexion? I don't know. But anyway, my skin's thicker. It is definitely. My sex drive. I'm safe to go out in public now, which is good. It's always a bonus. It's levelled off, and I'd say it's in the normal range for the average guy. Talking to guys I've talked to, it's about kind of normal, which is still incredibly high for me, because I didn't have a sex drive pre-teen, really. You know, it was like Christmas, birthday and Easter, that was it. So I think I'd say it's normal, and I love it. It's really nice just to be firing on all cylinders, and it's still making a really wonderful difference to me in that. It's lovely just getting to relearn each other. it's like a part of our relationship that was always missing, we're now having. So that's really nice. And it makes transition easier as well because, you know, it's something we can both enjoy. It's a new change that's really great for the both of us, which is good. Really good. That monthly evil thing that appears on occasion hasn't appeared now for 42 days. I had my last period after my booster jab, and I've had nothing since for 42 days. So I'm really happy about that. It does seem to be quite common on Libido, actually, that it stops quite quickly. And I wonder if that's because on shorter acting testosterones, you're peaking and troughing, whereas on Libido, you're kind of doing this. So maybe that kind of steady release means that it stops. Oh, I don't know. I'm probably not making any sense. But anyway, it seems to be stopping. So my next shot is the 14th of August, I believe. So it'd be interesting to see whether I do end up having one around that time, to see if my estrogen drops enough for me to have another period. I don't know. Fingers crossed. I really don't want it to happen. So 40 days free. I did get some cramping and feeling like I was going to around that time, but nothing came of it, and it only lasted a day. So there we go. Junk growth. Well, it's still getting thicker. There's a bit of length, but it's more thickness. However, my little Darth Vader has got a lot bigger. That's quite impressive. So yeah, that's good. Let's move on. Emotional changes. This month has just been brilliant. I just feel absolutely wonderful. How long am I going on for? Oh, we're all right. We're all right. Yeah, I just feel just so much more relaxed this month. I was really up and down the first couple of months, and I did think that was likely to do with like the hormones settling in and estrogen, testosterone doing this, and now it just feels like everything's levelled, and it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. So maybe I'm taking to tea really well. It does seem like I am, because I just don't feel like I'm taking anything at the moment, and my body just feels like home. It's really nice, actually, just to feel comfortable in myself. My energy levels are good. I'm not having that crashing that I was. I'm knackered at the moment, but that's Glastonbury, not testosterone. In general, my mood is probably the highest it's been for a long time, I'd say, because, you know, my mood's been improved since I got sober. But then, coming out as trans, although it was like a great thing on the one hand, it gave me so much more to deal with on another, so it kind of lowered my mood again. So that it's picked up much more at the moment. And I'm noticing that my anxiety is lowering. I haven't really noticed it happening as much. I went to the Laurels last week, and I was talking to Steve, and he was asking me how it was being in the waiting room, because I've told him before that I'm just generally anxious in any social situation. Even if I know people really well, I'm still anxious. And I was sat in the waiting room talking to Chris and a few of the staff there and a few other people. And it wasn't until Steve asked me, and I reflected, I was like, hang on a minute, I didn't feel even remotely anxious out there. So that was quite surprising. And I have to say, in general, I'm just finding myself in situations that would normally make me anxious, and I'm just not anxious. I'm doing things like picking up the phone to people, which is rare for me because I struggle to talk on the phone. I get very, very anxious talking to people on the phone. I'm generally just wanting to go out. If I'm indoors and I'm bored, I'll just go out, which is rare for me. So, yeah, it does seem to be making a difference, which is a relief, because I have been looking for a root cause of my anxiety, and I've had to at times accept that there might not be. I might just be that way disposed that I just have a natural high anxiety level and that I can work on overcoming it, but that it would be there, you know, and I was willing to accept that. But I was also hoping that the fact that I'm trans might be another answer to it, because one of the answers was definitely that I was an alcoholic and an addict and needed a new way of being in the world, and that's helped a lot, but not completely. So the idea that I'm anxious because of everything trans-related was kind of making sense. And it does seem to be that way, because the more comfortable I'm getting, the more I'm being consistently read as male, the more relaxed I feel. So that's wonderful. In terms of mental changes, it's also really surprising. Now, I study psychology, and the study module I was doing a little while ago, I had to stop, and I'm going to restart it in October. And I tell you what, it's going to be incredible now, seeing my difference in thought, because I was someone who kind of lent towards environmental influence, kind of like learned behaviour, nurture, as something that influenced your personality and the way you saw the world. I knew biology had a part in it, but I always thought, you know, it was not as big a part as environment. And I have to eat humble pie, really, when I go back to uni, because I tell you what, from my own experience, I have to say that biology plays a much bigger part than I would have given credit for, really, because in just 3 months, I have changed so dramatically in my personality, in the way I'm just more laid back. Now that my moods aren't so up and down and what have you, I am so much more laid back. The way I'm conversing with people and interacting with people, it's very, very different. You know, it's little things, but there's some very notable ones between me and Nat. And as I've said before, it's the way we talk together. It now seems that Nat goes on for so much, but she hasn't changed. It's just my perception of it's changed. So she'll come home and tell me about her day, and it will go on for ages, and then she's finished, and she just wants to watch telly, and I'm just sat there going, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to say? And it's like, nothing, I'm just telling you about my day. It's like I want to solve it. It's quite strange. And this is something about men and women. Men kind of talk for a purpose, to kind of solve something. Women just talk as a kind of like social interaction and an emotional release. There's two different ways that men and women converse. And I'm noticing it. You know, when I'm talking now with Nat, it's very factual. This is how I feel, this is what I need to do, this is what's going to happen. Blah. Done. So I'm trying to remember that Nat's just talking just because she wants to share. And that's quite... It's quite weird. I don't know if I'm making sense. But I've talked to other people that have experienced it like this as well. That, yeah, I'm just having to be very conscious that I'm listening to properly to Nat, because she'll look at me sometimes and go, "You've got that glazed over look again," and I'm like, "I'm sorry," because I want to stop and make conversation and go, "What is it you want to get to? Surely you can say this in just 2 sentences." And of course you could say it in 2 sentences, but she wants to share the whole day. And that used to be fine before testosterone, so I just need to remember that, you know, be a bit mindful about getting impatient with Nat around that. And she gets impatient with me, because whereas the old me would have gone blah, 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 about lots of stuff, I'm now just going, yeah. And she's like, elaborate, Finn. And I'm like, well, there's nothing to elaborate, it's just yes. You know, so it's very, very obvious, the change. Very, very obvious, and I'm so surprised. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going back to study and eating a bit of humble pie and just looking at how different I answer the essay questions in terms of like how it used to be. And I'm loving the fact that I chose to do videos, you know, because after a while I'm going to forget what my brain felt like on estrogen. I'm still early days enough to remember the difference in how I related to people back then and how I relate to people now. And it's so starkly different, but it'll become commonplace over the next few months and I won't notice it. Because, you know, even in AA and that, I always find it hard to get on with women. It's something I struggle with. I don't really know how to talk to women. But it's become even more apparent now that I just kind of just really can't talk to them. And although I've always got on better with men, now I get on even better. And I'm just more naturally gravitating towards the male side of the room in AA meetings and less the female side in the room. It's so bizarre that a chemical can do that much. It's amazing. Moving on to body changes. How are we doing? Oh dear, going on again, Finn. I am still bulking up on here, but not as dramatically as I was the first couple of months. I'm going to get on the weights again and see what I can do. I bought some stuff to use at home because I'm just not a gym bunny. I just don't like working out in front of people. So we'll see how that goes against some stuff at home. My shape is starting to change. I do measure myself once a month, and it doesn't show in the measurements. But my bum is smaller, and my bum is now on my stomach. It's definitely moving all to the front. I'm not overweight, but I'm carrying more than I should, and you can see it. But it doesn't show in the measurements, so I don't really understand that. My hips look smaller and straight down, but again, that doesn't show in the measurements, so I don't really get it. But I can see a change, and so can that. So, don't understand that. Let's move on to dysphoria feelings. Finally end with dysphoria feelings because we've gone on way too long, haven't we, Finn? I'm really sorry. If you've got to this part of the video, well done for sitting with it. Or if you're asleep, you know, happy dreams. So, dysphoria. I have got more top dysphoria, but they're coming off soon, so I can deal with it. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, it'll do. Still no lower dysphoria. I feel really comfortable with what's there, and the fact that I can now explore and enjoy myself and myself with others. With just Nat. I'm loving that, so there's no problem there at all. As for surgery, I don't know. That's something I shall be considering far in the future. Saying that though, I'm really comfortable using my peacock, and standing to pee is wonderful. It feels so natural, and that does make me think I'd love to be able to naturally stand to pee. So I don't know at the moment. I'm so comfortable with what's there at the moment and with what's changing. I don't want to mess with it, but it's sort of a thought in process. I'm still being increasingly more read as male more, even with Nat now, which is great because Nat usually is the spanner in the works, and people see us together and think, oh, Nat's a butch lesbian, therefore the person with Nat must be a butch lesbian too. But that's not happening as much anymore. In fact, sometimes she's called he as well, which is quite funny. I'm just generally more comfortable in myself, really, and I just have this feeling of just rightness, that my whole body has breathed a sigh of relief and that something's clicked. I do feel absolutely just wonderful this month. I just feel so chilled and relaxed and just so right in my body, and I'm loving the fact that tea is working for me, and I just couldn't be happier, really. It keeps hitting me. I will just be walking around town somewhere and I'm just hit with this wave of just gratitude and just rightness, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and this is only the start of my journey. So if it's this good now, it's just going to be amazing, isn't it? There's just no end to possibilities for me now, and I really do feel that. I just feel like I can really take off in my life, and that's lovely to be able to say. So I'm getting all emotional, as usual. I'm going to leave it there. I still get emotional. I can't cry. I haven't cried since going on tea. I don't find crying easily anyway. It's not something that comes easily to me. What makes me cry usually is passion. When I feel really passionate about something, music, art, stuff like that. I always cry at music, not because I'm sad, because I just love it so much it just makes me well up and cry. Didn't cry once at Glastonbury. That's rare for me. I had lots of moments where I thought it was going to and it never happened. So that's interesting. But I still feel the emotion. It's just not coming out of my eyes. But yeah, I'm pleased I'm still in touch with my passion and my emotion, which is good. Yes. Right, that's gone on way too long. Thank you for watching and being patient with my ramblings. Hope everyone's really, really well. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and I'll do a shorter update next week. Bye-bye.